going on, everybody? My name is Camilo for DKD21 Media, and today we're doing a behind the scenes on a video that we did for Sneak Energy. So Sneak Energy create delicious energy drinks, and they decided to collaborate with me after seeing some of the VFX videos that I've been doing on my Instagram. So they gave me all the creative freedom and sent over some products to us to make the video that you saw in the intro. By the way, if you like videos like these, let me know in the comments below and I'll definitely make some more. And if you happen to like it, make sure to leave it a like as well. So the first aspect of any creative piece that we do is to do some pre-planning. So we knew this video was going to live on the Instagram page, so we knew it needed a strong attention grabbing beginning as well as be engaging throughout. We also knew the video had to fit with the branding, so I looked at their most recent videos and took note of the style and the feel of them. More about this in a bit. So my pre-planning workflow usually goes something like this. Usually I find a soundtrack which I like and listen to it on repeat whilst coming up with the shots that go well with the music. But as we thought of incorporating VFX shots into this video, which can be aligned in any order, the music can be chosen after. Regardless, during our branding research, we found that dark or chill hip hop was used in the videos. The next part of the pre-planning process I usually focus a lot more on is the shot lists and the ideation. I usually do these together because I'm quite a visual person. I like to come up with ideas and then draw them out and see how they look, kind of imagine them moving, if that makes sense. The brief idea that I chose was to have the can as a sort of hero shot and then 3 creative ways to switch between the 3 different flavors of the cans that we were given. So as this concept was very visual, I decided to make a more in-depth storyboard. Now, my drawing skills are sub-average, so I'm actually embarrassed to show you these pictures, but that's basically what I came up with. This is more of a reference than anything, so if you're like me and you can't draw, don't stress out, but also don't negate this process because it's super useful. Even during the shooting process, I made reference to the storyboard. So once the pre-production process was done, it was time to think about the set design. Now, as mentioned before, we took notes of the style and branding that Sneak Energy has to ensure that what we make aesthetically fits what they currently have on their pages and doesn't stick out as a random piece of content. We realized that they have kind of a grungy urban look, so we tried to incorporate that with the backgrounds that we used. And as our shots only comprised of the can and the changing background, these were the only things on the set. So for the background of the piece, I originally thought of putting up some of the pop-up backgrounds like the one I have here, but then I realized, and I've been seeing some of these things online, where people actually put a TV screen as their background, and because when the TV screen is out of focus, you can't actually tell that it's a TV screen, I thought it was perfect. Not only do I get some background light, but I can also change my background whenever I wanted. Also, if we were to put a green screen, it would need tons of light, and that would just make the whole process much more difficult. Another key ingredient for this set was a piece of reflective plexiglass that I put on the surface. The surface itself was a little bit reflective, but I thought adding a little bit more will make it look nicer. Although in the end, I ended up looking up at the can, so we didn't get that many reflections in it, but it did help with filling in the shadows. Speaking of, to finish off the set, we needed proper lighting. We firstly turned off all the house lights to give us more control over our scene, and in this video, we used 2-point lighting, although technically it was 3, because our first light was actually the TV. So our next light was the Yonyuo YN360 light. We used this as an edge light, and we kept it vertical to add height to the can, and it just helps it pop from the background. The second light was another Yonyuo light at a 45-degree angle and slightly higher, which acted as a key light and allowed the label to be easily seen and not hidden in the shadows. One of the best features of the YN360 is the fact that you can control it with your smartphone. The dedicated app makes it easy to adjust the intensity of the light, and even if I wanted to change the color of the light, I can do it straight from the app. I'll leave a link in the description to this light because I think it's just amazing. With the set finished, it was time to set up our camera gear. Our main camera was the Sony A7 III with the Tamron 28-75 at f2.8. I had the focal range at 75mm to give more compression to the background and help with the separation. We also used a Field World MA5 monitor to ensure that everything was composed properly and in frame. In terms of camera movement, we used a slider by Coolertron. I think the slider is discontinued, so I'll leave a link below to something that's exactly the same. It's not motorized, so the movements were done freehand. This came to be beneficial because it will be much more harder to match up the movement of the can with an automatic slider than it was for me to do it manually and actually seeing and controlling and reacting in real time. Either way, the timing of rolling the can and tracking it was quite difficult, but I did it enough times to make sure that I had flexibility in post. So the actual shooting aspect of the video went quite smoothly. If it wasn't for timing the camera movement and the rolling of the can, it was done quite quickly. And I think this was thanks to the storyboard that I made earlier. When I got stuck or needed a bit of a reference, I just looked at the storyboard and it really helped me visualize visualize what I had to do. So I didn't have to do much thinking, and I was kind of an automatic flowing through the ideas that I already spent time coming up with before. In the official filmmaking commercial world, time is money, and that's why pre-planning is super important with any production. So in terms of shot order, I had to keep in my mind that this was going to be a loop, so it had to end at the same point that I was going to start. So having to remember where the camera was on the slider at the beginning was super crucial. The first shot was that of placing can 1 in front of the screen and in the background changing. The second can would then roll in front of can 1. This was repeated with can 2 in focus, which would then manipulate in post to make it seem like it was all seamlessly going into focus, because having to actually focus in the camera as it's crossing would have been just super complicated. The next shot was of can 2 coming from the right to the left, revealing can 2 stood up, and then changing the background, followed by removing the can and then placing can 3 in its place using some rotoscoping. And then we come back to the loop, and then we have a whole continuous cycle. So as you can see, it was quite simple shooting anyway. In my next video, I'll do a breakdown of how I edited this video, because there were quite a few steps to do it. If you want to check that out, I'll leave a link up here. But until then, if you like this video, make sure to give it a like so other people can see it. And if you actually really did enjoy this type of content, let me know, because I definitely want to make some more of this. If you want to learn how to step up your production quality, make sure to subscribe and check out the channel, because there are plenty more videos on how to do that. With all that said and done, I will see you in the next video.